now. Uh, Hi, myself, T Baby. You're listening to KUAW Radio, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. This is the truth be told. If you have a business or an event that you'd like sponsor here on KUAW Radio, make sure to send us an email at 985 or KUAW985 at gmail.com. You can always tap in 24/7 on the World Wide Web, www.kuaw.org. If you're watching me live over Facebook, hey, and if you're listening to me and you like to watch me live, hop over to our Facebook page, KUAW Radio. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your family and friends so that they can um, have an opportunity to partake in the content that we have here on KUAW Radio. Also, make sure to follow us on all our social media sites, Instagram, YouTube, TuneIn, Periscope, anywhere where your listening pleasures, KUAW. Make sure to like and subscribe to those pages. Okay. So we know we just went through the Juneteenth holiday. Um, this past weekend. I hope everyone got to partake in some type of Juneteenth festivities. I know we talked about last week what Juneteenth actually represent and representation of. Now that they made it a federal holiday, you've seen a lot of commentary, around it becoming a federal holiday, which I feel like that I had just seen that when I had talked about it last week, right? Because it had just happened like an hour, right? And so we touched a little bit on it, and then you take into consideration one thing that I've been seeing throughout the week is the critical race theory and how it's not supposed to be taught in school anymore. And I know here in I know in Texas for sure, which I feel like it will probably be, kind of recommended across the boards as how public education goes. But anyway, so it's like you can make it a holiday, but then you can't teach why it's a holiday, right? And I know there's a lot of people that there's a lot of mixed feelings on, the critical race theory. And that's and see, the thing about this with a lot of people is that's very vague language when you're talking about it, because it's like, what does it entail? What does it cover? What can you talk about? What can't you talk about, right? And so then you have a lot of people saying that, oh, they're trying to hide what's actually going on in the world, or how things even take away a big piece of America's history and things like that, of what you can talk about and what you can't talk about because of the country that we live in, right? And so then you have people like me, on the saying that I think it is time that we get to a point where the oppressor is not teaching our children. Like, we need to teach our children their history, where they came from, everything like that, because in American history, our people do not start until slavery. You know what I'm saying? So they're coming up into with the mindset, especially these critical ages that school starts and everything like that. This mindset of that they came from slaves and things like that, and then we're still out here getting. When you look at how we're getting treated in the world, which you can't avoid that, seeing that, you can avoid hearing it in the music or anything like that. Like, you don't need to be at school and it's getting reinforced to you as well. And I just think that it's time that we take over the narrative and we educate our own children now, versus a lot of people say, okay, well, we don't have the education ourselves, so you can't put it on the parents or anything like that. But no, it's not even just like the verses, or it's like if you into church or whatever, like your religion could be like, those are the type of things, those are where the places and things could be done. How much thing when we go over Bible studies and Quran classes and everything like that, like you can throw a little history lesson in there, because they are both, most holy books have representation of history. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are things, people that exist. Like, you can teach more about this. We know that these were our people in these books, no matter which way you look at it, from whatever religion you look at it, know who the people were. You know what I'm saying? Like they describe them. You know, so it's like you can teach it. This has to be more creative in a way of really teaching it, but teach it from a truth aspect. We don't need it taught in schools from the oppressor's viewpoint. We don't need that type of viewpoint pounded into our children's minds. So I don't think that it's something that we should be fighting against. Like it's more so something that we should encourage. Like, no, I don't want you to teach my children your idea of what white supremacy is and how they should act, and you know, so make them say where they can act accordingly and all this other kind of stuff or whatever. No, that's not the mindset they need to be treated. You act like a normal human being with righteousness, and when you know what I'm saying, love, true peace, freedom, and justice. You dig? Like, ain't nobody got time for all the extra stuff. I don't need it pounded in your mind, because you can do whatever it is that you want to do. You know, it don't need to start that you came from nothingness, basically, or whatever. How they teach it, or their ideal of what it teach, all the things they did to us throughout history that we then overcame and continuously have to overcome to this day. Like that's not what I need you to pound in my child's head when they're going to school. Like they need to be learning how to read, how to write, how to multiply, you know, mathematics, the science experiments, stuff like that, how the elements work together, some important stuff, not all the negative things that our people didn't have to go through. And you know, like, so yeah, I think they should get rid of Black History Month. And I think that that's kind of what a lot of people are worried about, because it kind of, when you think about Black History Month or whatever, it kind of falls into that critical race theory or whatever, like everything that they were normally discussed and things like that or whatever. So it's like it's probably in a sense like, and eventually they will be trying to get rid of that, you know? And I don't know, y'all. Like, I don't know. Like I said, it's just so much that even when I went to college and I took African American studies, like being going through school and having Black History Month and everything that I learned during Black History Month in my 12 years of schooling or whatever, like did not compare to one class that I took in African American studies. Like it was so much more, so much deeper. So it's taught so surface level. It's like to the point of why teach it at all? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna keep it at that level, you know, as such a surface level, then why teach it at all? Like we have to be, like I said, I feel like it's to the point where now we have to start teaching our own children, like at home in these churches that they're going to, or if you're making them go to church or temple or whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever your religion preference is. But all these other outside activities and things that you can, is a way to include it. And I feel like it's important that it's time that we take over the narrative of it instead of the public school system. So I definitely am in agreement with the governor, like just saying that, you know, take that away or whatever. Now the holiday and stuff, yeah, I don't celebrate holidays anyway. So, you know, just giving the holidays like a band-aid to me, it's like we're asking for so much more. We're asking for like justice. We're asking for anti-hate bills. We're asking for people to be held accountable for the things that they do to us. Just giving us a holiday is not significant to me. It's not to the point where it shows any type of acknowledgement of what you've done, any accountability, any hurt, and all the oppression that we've been through. Like, no, like it doesn't make up for that at all, you know. And I don't know, our people, they just do what it is that they, you know, sometimes, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so that's my take on that, how I wanted to open it up with the first 10 minutes of that. I also want to talk about what's going on in the Olympics right now. It is so beautiful. It's Sha'Carri Richardson and Gabby Doug, and am I saying her name right? No, Simone Biles. I'm talking about Gabby Douglas, Simone Biles, and then the swimmer girl, the swimmer lady. You know, I can't think of what her name is right now, but they are like really doing their thing, which I don't even know why I would expect anything different. The thing with Sha'Carri Richardson, because track is my heart, you know, so I automatically, you know, I've been seeing about her for a while now, just with her being, it was a random, it was so random. It was kind of like, be quiet, here's Juneteenth. Oh, right, cousin. Because hey, y'all. But yeah, right. It was like a band-aid, right? Like, which we already was celebrating Juneteenth. We did not need no validation for you to make it an executive thing or like anything like that. And now everybody get paid for Juneteenth. I don't think Europeans need to be paid for Juneteenth. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But but yeah, so they are okay. So when she started coming, when she came out, she was 21. She made it to the Olympics, and she's really like the fastest woman right now. You got so many people coming out like, oh, she's ghetto because she got the nails, she got the weave, she got all the tattoos, her makeup is beat out there running. Like say she wants to look like a man. Like it's just been so much hate, and I never will get this with our people. It's like, why can we not just live in the moment? Even in like Kansas City, like a lot of people on my Kansas City timeline talk about, oh, we didn't show this much love to Mona Lee, which I disagree with that, period, because I knew about Mona Lee. But like I said, I ran track, you know what I'm saying? I remember going to KU relays just because I wanted to be in the same meet. Like, what do you mean? Like, Maurice Green, like, oh, my summer track team, like, shout out to all my old track mates or whatever. But anyway, yeah, they were saying like, oh, it wasn't this much love. And it's like, why does it have to be a comparison? We should be able to live in the now. Like, let's be happy in the present moment. Don't always look at something to be find or try to find something to be, I don't want to use the word hate, but it really is hate, like to just hate on or just find somebody. Like, why you got to sit up here and say this woman ghetto because the way she chooses to wear her hair, because she chooses to wear lashes and whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's her business. Like, be proud of the fact that this 21-year-old young woman is one of the fastest women in the world and went to the Olympics, breaking, setting records, you know what I'm saying? And she looking and drinking like everything that they tell us that we shouldn't be, but she being her pure self. Like, it's just and it's just like the tennis, Naomi, with the tennis, like with her, she's saying when she was saying oh, Natalie Hines, okay, that's her name, Natalie Hines, with the swim team. But yeah, like with her wanting to not speak to the media and just to protect her mental health and everything like that or whatever, like we have to start encouraging people to be who they are, no matter what position or statue they might hold or whatever, and praise them for being their authentic selves. Like, just let her be her. Be proud of what she doing and what she represent, and hyper up, put energy into that. Why put energy into all these things? That, oh, when I heard they said, when they was just kept saying, oh, she just so ghetto. Like, what? Y'all don't even know ghetto. Like, yeah, the ladies are showing out. We run the world. Like, it's, oh, baby. And it's our women. Like, the world don't really run without us. They act like they don't know, but they know. But yeah, so I just want to say we really have to learn how to live in the present moment and be happy and be praiseful and just be merry in each and every moment that we have, because we never really know when the moment's gonna end. We never really know. The life's gonna keep life, and like there's always gonna be something to be mad about. There's always gonna be something to be down about or whatever. But you have to make a conscious decision daily. You know what I'm saying? You have to make conscious decisions daily on to what your status is going to be, whether you're going to be, you know what I'm saying, happy or sad, or what you even put out, And so it's just like when you see it so much with like all the hate, when you have seen it so much, just like up and down social media, that's why people have to take social media breaks, because it's just so much of just the other side of the spectrum. And but you see it so much within like our people in our nation. It's just like we just have to do better, like if we want our circumstances and stuff to do better, like we have to do better, right? Okay. So what I really wanted to get into was, I had seen this thing I wanted to talk about. And it is called the uncomfortable truths that we all need to accept. And so this is the truth be told, I felt like this really stood out to me. And I'm me. I go through a lot of things that are, my own things or whatever too. So I be use this show as my outlet to kind of help me with kind of things that I need to talk through, talk myself through, at the same times, and whoever it might, touch or whatever. So the first one is, so it's like 8 uncomfortable truths that we all need to accept. So the first one is, happiness is where you are now and or nowhere at all. So it's just like we were just talking about living in the present moment. It's like even in your daily life, even your daily lives, right? We have to learn how to find something to be grateful for. And I use the word happiness. Associate happiness with gratitude, because the more gratitude and stuff that you pull out, the more joy you feel, the more happy you feel or whatever about situations or about life. Like, it's what you choose to pour into it, because you can pull out each you can pull out whatever, like the negative or the positive of any situation, right? Of any situation. So when you're looking for something to be grateful for, you're automatically looking for the positive, the things that make you happy. So I associate happiness with being grateful. So it says, it's not a new relationship, it's not a new job, it's not a completed goal, it's not a new car. Until you give up on the idea that happiness is somewhere else, you will never be where you are. So with that, it's saying, like, to me, it's saying that again, to be present. And it's a quote that I talk about a lot on here, and it was just saying, it's like, to be depressed is to be living in the past. To be anxious is to be living in the future, but to be at peace is to be living in the present moment. And so peace and happiness go hand in hand, because you're happy when you're peaceful. You know what I'm saying? When it's peace around you, when your world is peaceful, like, you're happy with that. So it stimulates in your mind the chemicals that are released in your body when you feel those type of emotions and things. It could be a great remedy for a lot of things a lot of situations that we find ourselves in. So the second one says, quitting is for winners, right? That's what it says. It says quitting is for winners. And I'm gonna read this one before I go into it. So it says, contrary to popular opinion, quitting is for winners. Knowing when to quit, change direction, leave a toxic situation, demand more from life, give up on something that isn't working, and move on, is a very important skill that people who win at life all seem to have. But don't quit just because it's hard. Quit because it sucks, right? So when I had first read that one, I was just like, what? Because you always talk like, don't quit, don't give up, this and that, right? You always hear those type of things, and you make sure you give it your all. I'm not saying that not to give situations your all, but I do feel like it's really important for your mental call it quits at something. I feel like if we learn, especially in like relationships, even friendships, and just like personal relationships that we have, if we learn when that these leaves have fallen from our tree. You know what I'm saying? Because some people are seasonal, and some people are for a lifetime. Like, some people are roots, some people are leaves, some people are branches. They stay a little bit longer. Eventually, they may break off. They don't die every season like the leaves, but they may break every once in a while. But you have to learn when it's the right time for you. And to me, that only can be described with like knowing yourself, because no one can tell you when how much you can deal with. Only you can determine how much of something that you can take. Only you know how a certain situation or a certain person or a certain way that your life is going, how that makes you feel. No, contrary to what anybody else thinks. You the one that has to deal with it today. It's really a very selfish concept, but not selfish in a negative way, because some selfishness is not always negative. So, but it's like, yeah, you got to know when to say, okay, let me not do this and let me do something different. The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. You know, it's like there's only so much that you can do before you have to determine that you have to do something a different way or in a different situation or look at something from a different perspective and make a different move. So I definitely understood that, and I definitely feel like that's important because it goes into boundaries. You know, we have to set boundaries for the people around us, you know, and we have to know that when someone keep crossing our boundaries, how to cut that person off, you know, like to let it go. Says used to ask to cut off not listening useless things. Like if it's not bringing you growth, if it's not bringing you happiness, if it's not bringing you peace, if it's bringing you more of a sadness or a depression or anger or irritation, like no, I have to, it's time to let that go. And I think it's important to know that's why self-care Sunday is definitely part of my routine, because I got to take an evaluation of how I'm feeling about every aspect of life, because I need to know if I need to do something different or not. It's to get the, you know, the best results out of life. So number 3, I'm gonna try to get to at least through 4 of them before I gotta go on break. So number 3, it says if they really wanted to, they would. If you apply pressure, they'll do what you want them to. If you take the pressure off, you'll see what they'd rather do. Never waste your life fighting what someone would rather do. Let them go, move on, do better. Now, um, this one it's crazy, right? Just to me, this is the one I like kind of resonate with, like what I'm really learning to accept in my life, you know, and I'm just being transparent with y'all, because I'm a helper and I'm a caring person, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, but sometimes you do have to allow yourself to let you see, and this go in any aspect of life. It's like, what would they do? Because it's so much of ourselves we always give that we don't even sit back to see what we're actually receiving. Not necessarily saying that you do things in return to receive, but you also have to know, or however you have to know the people around you and the people that you are giving to, because there are people that are going to reciprocate what it is that you give, the energy and stuff that you give off. And you have to be able to see that, you know what I'm saying? You have to allow yourself to see that. And it's like the apply pressure thing, right? It's like if you're always on top of somebody to do something, do it, like eventually they're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just tired of hearing you say it, or, you know, whatever. But out of pressure, like, yeah, they're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? You can get the same result of what you want to do, but do you want to have to be the person that has to always constantly tell somebody how you want to be treated, or what they should be doing to, you know, be your friend, or what they should be doing to make you feel, you know, comfortable in the situation and having them around, or however you're looking at the situation, you know what I'm saying? It should have to be the point that's always had to be like a pressure point in it, or, you know, tell them how to do it. Or do you want to find somebody that's just who their natural energy is? Like, I want to associate with the people that's like-minded. So if that's what my natural energy is, then I want that to be around people whose natural energy is somewhat, you know, compatible with mine, you know? So it's like, I don't want to have to always ask you to do something or tell you to do something or just for you to do it. I'd rather see what you rather do. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you going to call me? I do it in my friendships. You know what I'm saying? If I feel like I'm always the friend calling, I'll stop just for a little while, just to see if you're going to call me, you know what I'm saying? And call check on me or whatever like that, just to make sure. I don't know if it's to make sure or whatever, but it's just the type of thing, is seeing what people rather do. Because sometimes you just be feeling like you get on people's nerves or something like that or whatever, especially in like new relationships and stuff. So it's like, you got to see what a person would rather do, and you got to give them the opportunity to show you their true colors, or show you who they are, their true energy. So yeah. So then the 4th one is taking no risk is the biggest risk. You have to risk failure to succeed. You have to risk rejection to be accepted. You have to risk heartbreak to love. And if you're always avoiding risk, you're risking missing out on life. The risk thing has always been a thing of being to me because I have a very entrepreneur spirit. So it's like, yeah, I calculate the risks of everything that I do, and I'm good at chess. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be able to calculate the risks of things and the situations and things that you do. I definitely can see where the understanding of it is coming from, or what it is to, understand or accept about it in life, because a lot of times we don't put ourselves out there. You might not apply for that job because you don't want to not get the job, or go up for the promotion because you don't want to get, you don't want to not get the promotion, and then it'll make you feel some type of way. You feel like you're not good enough, or you know what I'm saying, something like that. Or if it's someone that you're interested in, you might not make the first move because we fall into this concept, especially with women. It's like, they supposed to come to us or whatever, however you might see it. Or it's just like, afraid of rejection. You know what I'm saying? And then rejection is it's not a good feeling. So I can understand how why that would be included in the uncomfortable truth, because it's a risk in everything we do. And if you're not taking no risk, you're not living, right? Because it's like, you got to take a risk. We take a risk every day. You know what I'm saying? You drive a car, you take a risk. Like we walk into a store, you teaching a school, like everything that we do, we take a risk, so it's some type of risk in it. So it's just like, how big of a risk are you willing to take for what it is that you want to do? But it's like, I don't want to miss out on saying, or in my mind think being fear. See, it's fear. That's the word. I'm glad it came to me like that, because when you avoid risk, it's fear, right? And we have to eliminate fear to replace it with faith. I used to have this little thing on my phone, but it's like a faith over fear, right? Because it's one of those opposite things. When we think about the universal laws and polar opposites, fear is in opposite of faith, right? So they can't occupy the same space. And so that's the way a lot of people think, like a faith of a mustard seed, like how small it is, but it's like all the rest of that space is filled with fear, then you're probably most likely gonna be avoiding a lot of things that could lead you to your destiny, you know what I'm saying, in life. Like, yeah, you gotta have faith, but you just gotta have faith, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is that's how you get rid of the fear of the risk, or avoiding the risk and things that you do. If you have faith that everything's gonna work out in your favor, if you have faith that everything happens for a reason, if you have faith that God's not gonna put too much on me that I can handle, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person, if it was something that I felt like I really wanted and it just didn't happen, it just wasn't the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do it on my time instead of the universe time, and so, which is a different measurement of time. So it's like, you have to release that fear and just have faith in just like your heart desires, and what it is that you're going after, or what it is that what you want out of life, and just know that you can get those things and create those things, and that God will provide these things for you. So it's like, you can't avoid taking the risk. You can't, because you have to take the risk. Like, that's why I said it's like taking no risk is the biggest risk at all, because you risk not living up to your full potential, not living out your heart desires, not you miss out on a lot just over fear of doing something. So definitely gotta eliminate that, right? Okay, so it's almost time for me going break. So I'm just going to remind y'all real quick of what the first 4 was. And again, this is the uncomfortable truths that we all have to accept. And so number 1 was happiness is where you are now and or nowhere at all. Number 2, quitting is for winners. Number 3, if they really wanted to, they would. Taking no risk is the biggest risk. I'm gonna see real quick if I had and again, so yeah. So I'm gonna have to take a break, and then we're gonna come back with the next 4 and possibly get into 5 ways to know you're going into your full potential or something like that. That might not be exactly how it is, but I'm gonna let y'all know. But I just ask that y'all take this time to bear with me, like this video, share this video. We're gonna get a little of our sponsorships out the way. You ready, Miss Sargent? And I'll be right back. Alrighty, okay. I appreciate you guys for bearing with me and taking the time for us to get our sponsorships out the way. Again, if you having a business or an event that you'll like sponsor here on KUAW, make sure to email us at KUAW985@gmail.com. We do check our email. We are Kansas global community radio station, so help us help you. And let us know what you got going on so we can let our listeners in on the great things that are going on with you guys' events. We appreciate you for being listeners. So yeah, help us help you. And make sure you send us an email. Okay, so again, we were going over, I was going over what is called, or what I seen, the 8 uncomfortable truths that we all need to accept. We went over the first 4. I will not go bore you guys with that again. If you just now tuning in, just go back and watch watch the first half that you missed, and then you'll get it. But okay, so number 5 is call yourself out. The most common reason why people keep making the same mistakes is because their insecure ego prevents them from taking responsibility for their own BS. This is a family show. Let me not say that. No, just their own toxic traits and their own mistakes. You have to call yourself out. Calling yourself out means you care more about your future, your progress, and your happiness than just protecting your ego. And so with that, it's like I talk about the higher self and the lower self, right? And it's to know thyself. And so when you know yourself, you know how to basically hold yourself accountable for your actions. When I was going through anger management, like the anger management classes that I really went through couldn't take me nothing, but just this time period in my life, I remember I used to talk to my daddy and I'll be like, well, yeah, so and so made me mad, or this situation, it made me mad, or it irritated me. It was always some other outside force, right? And so my daddy's like, no, they didn't make you, you allowed yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be accountable for your own thoughts, emotions, actions, everything, how you react to it. And all. It's like, we always want to place or blame on some type of outside force, make affecting us to the point where we feel some type of way, instead of holding ourselves accountable to why we allowed it to make us feel some type of way or react in a certain type of way, because those are the issues that you need to, or are the issues more so that need addressing than what someone else's actions is doing, like with me personally, it was I always felt disrespected. Oh, they disrespected me. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I cannot stand to feel disrespected, right? But it was so many things that I felt disrespected about, right? That other people might not even consider disrespect, And so I had to evaluate in myself of like, why am I allowing someone who don't know me who don't, anything, like to make me feel some type of way, or to bring me down to a lower frequency, or bring me down to my lower self. And once I start looking at it like that, and my goal is to maintain and to be in my higher self, to dwell on higher frequencies, because that's how you attract the things that you want out of life. Like, you have to be on the frequency of love. You have to be on higher frequencies. When you allow yourself to be on lower frequency, you attract lower frequency things. You attract lower frequency situations. That's why when it rains, it pours. Yeah, because you're attracting more rain. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like when you come aware of that type of thing, it's easy to call yourself out in a situation, because you'll start to feel something. You be like, hold up, why am I feeling like this? Like, you have to, if you gotta talk to yourself sometimes, hey, do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you got to get to the bottom of it, because you got to be accountable for who you are. Be accountable for, you can't be accountable for nobody else but yourself. Like, you got to figure out what you're putting out, because it's all connected in a sense. It's all connected in a way of how it comes, what it's going to come back towards, and the experiences that we have. So yeah, just calling yourself out, it's like, you got to know yourself. You got to be able to find yourself. I know if I'm in a not so good of a mood, then I might just not talk to nobody that day. I might need to take a mental health day, so I don't say nothing, or I don't have no attitude, or I don't show no irritation, or you know what I'm saying, things like that, because I have to be held accountable for that. Like, I can't expect someone else to just understand. So number 6, it says that closure is a choice. Closure isn't an apology or justice or answers. That's an insecurity. If the situation made you feel awful, seeking closure by reopening the situation, or it is insanity. Closure isn't something they can give you. Closure is moving on. Closure is your choice. That would seem like it was like more sense of talking about like a relationship with me. But then I think about it, it's like, when we think about relationships, then that's all type of relationships. It could be a relationship with a parent, it could be with a sibling, it could be with a friend, you know what I'm saying? All this type of situation, any type of situation. And in a lot of situations, we do look for some type of wanting the other person to take accountability, or even if you're on the other side and you're like giving the closure, it's like, see, to me, accountability, if you're on the other side of it, like someone's seeking closure from you, is change behavior. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not necessarily with that person, but just for yourself, to grow for yourself. Like, that's the type of closure for me. And even in a situation, if I feel like someone owes me an apology, it's like I have to find some type of growth in myself or whatever. And that's my closure. Like, I don't need when how it says like an apology or answer to why you did this or why you treated me like that, like that ain't none of my business. You know what I'm saying? Like it's my bill. What my business is to tend to my part in the situation. And yeah. So I definitely get, closers of choice because it's something that you used to go looking for or whatever. And it's like the 9 times out of 10, maybe 7 times out of 10, you probably not gonna get the closure that you're looking for, right? So it's like, why go looking for it anyway? So yeah, that's a definitely a good one. Number 7, it says, if you're happy alone, you'll be happier together. There's no type of affection that can fill the void in a person who doesn't love themselves already. There's no independence in independency. There's no personal security in attaching yourself to a secure person. Until you have a healthy relationship with yourself, you won't make healthy decisions about someone else. So we was just talking about like my self-care Sundays or whatever. You definitely have to have be confidence and love, you know what I'm saying, for yourself. It was a quote, I was just seeing it the other day, where it was like when Will Smith was talking about his relationship and he was saying, I can't make her happy, she has to already be happy. She can't make me happy, I have to already be happy. Like happiness is a choice, you know what I'm saying? Like it's an inside job, and it's a choice that we choose to be in ourselves, and we shouldn't be have a dependency on another person or situation or a certain amount of money or anything like that. Like those type of things should not control our happiness. And that's a big one that we have to learn how to get over, because it's not about what type of shoes or clothes or how much you have or where you're living or what type of car you drive or anything like that. Like none of those things, yeah, they might be your heart desires, and you might yes, having nice things is there. Like of course, money, if we didn't need money, everything would be free. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. So it's like, of course you want nice things and everything like that, but those things should not control your happiness. Like you should be happy, you should be grateful. Kind of goes back to the first part of it. Y'all know I like to bring it around full circle. But yeah, it just goes into finding gratitude in where you find yourself in the present moment, to be happy with yourself. And because being happy is not going to do nothing but attract more situations or more things into your life that make you happy. So yeah, you definitely have to find a way to be not depend on another person or another situation to control your happiness. Is an important part of life and growing, because then when you stop letting the outside forces affect happiness. Happiness is heaven. That's heaven on earth. So and self-love, like there's no love that no one can give you that can't give to yourself. Like you have to be able to give it to yourself first. Like you have to be able to look in the mirror and know that hey, I'm great, I'm enough, like all those things. You got to tell yourself that, like whatever it might be, because if you don't think it about yourself, nobody else will think it about you. If you don't have confidence in yourself, you ain't gonna walk into your boss so we can get no promotion and things like that if you can't show a certain amount of confidence in yourself. So definitely self-love, self-confidence, and happiness, they definitely all start, within. Oh, that was number 7. Let me see how much time we got. So we gonna number 8 is, it is not your job to fix damaged people. Your responsibility to help someone will never outweigh their responsibility to help themselves. But it's worth asking yourself why you resonate so strongly with someone that so desperately needed fixing in the first place. Often our own toxic romantic and non-romantic attachment tell a story about an issue we have within ourselves. Okay. So this is another one that's a big one for me, because I love to help people. It's one of the reasons I have the truth be told. You know what I'm saying? I love to have to take something that I may say that may resonate with, you know, someone listening that affects their daily lives, that changes their lives for the better. You know, it's all about helping my people just understand themselves and know the truth about themselves, right? I've always had that type of passion. Even in school, I used to get in trouble for helping kids with their work. You know, I had finished. I'm trying to help them, you know what I'm saying? And everything like that. So even in my adult life and relationship lives, I tend to gravitate towards men that kind of need that kind of damage, you know what I'm saying? That kind of need a little help, a little growth or whatever. My friends always say I like a challenge, you know what I'm saying? A project in a sense. So this one is a real big one for me because um when we say you got to understand it's not your responsibility to help someone, or your responsibility to help someone will never outweigh their responsibility to help themselves. We got to understand that people have to want help. You know, they have to want to do the work for themselves, and they got to understand or be aware that if there's even a problem, a lot of times we try to help people or fix people that don't even see a problem with their behavior, you know. And when you get put in that type of situation, then it's like, what do? Do you just walk away? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we feel so strongly about, you know, situations, like personal situations, but I guess that's part of knowing when to quit. I guess, like, you know what I'm saying? Like just knowing when your opinion or advice or whatever is not necessarily wanted, you know. Yeah, because like I said, if they don't realize that they need help or want to help themselves, then how can you try to, you know, make somebody do something they don't? Not you can't make nobody do nothing that they want to do. We can't make people do anything, right? It says, but it's worth asking yourself why you resonate so strongly with them. And that's a good thing because it's a lot of things. It, like they said, it's a reflection of some type of insecurity or some type of problem that we or obstacle or something that we may be feeling on the inside. It's always easier to tell someone else what they should do in the situation than really doing it for yourself. um they say it's easier to pluck someone else's weeds than it is to pluck your own, to see yourself in a mirror or anything like that. So and those things are true. So we have to be aware of to look for the things that are signs and symbols, I guess, of things that could be going on with ourselves, you know, or something that we need to start paying attention to within ourselves, right? So we have to be able to be aware and be able to look at these things and be able to recognize these things or whatever. And a lot of them is the relationships, whether it be friendships or romantic relationships, non-relationships, just the things, the people that we start to surround ourselves in is a good representation of what we kind of see in ourselves. um so yes, I definitely agree with that one, that it's like, or that's a way to, you know, see if you're constantly finding yourself attracted to damaged people, or and then realizing, because a lot of times too, our expectations are a lot of, okay, let me rewrite this, a lot of disappointment that we have in life is the expectations that we've set up, because expectations lead to disappointment. When you expect something out of someone that more than they expect out of themselves, they most than likely are going to disappoint you. At that point, you're going to feel anger, or you feel sadness, or you feel pity. It's going to trigger some type of emotion, right? So it's like we realize that it's not our job. You know what I'm saying? All we can do is, oh sorry, all we can do is be accountable Now that I did not mean to do, sorry. But be accountable for ourselves. Again, going taking this thing back full circle. So let's just really kind of go over one time. Happiness is where you are now, nowhere at all. Quitting is for winners. If they really wanted to, they would. Taking no risk is the biggest risk. Call yourself out. Closure is your choice. If you're happy alone, you'll be happier together. It is not your job to fix damaged people. And these are 8 uncomfortable truths that we all need to, according to the article, need to accept. But yeah, so again, it's just knowing ourselves. I wanted to just read these and go over these and talk about these or whatever, just because, like I said, a lot of them tie into each other and can also help us live on a more higher frequency in life. You know what I'm saying? Because we find when we become aware, more aware of ourselves and how it really in tunes, work with the universe and everything like that, then we learn healthier habits to have ourselves in situations that are more aligned with our paths and desires and passions and things like that. And then when you learn how to find happiness in the present moment, your life is peaceful. It's a lot of mental health. I know I went to a doctor, there's a lot of all these mental health questions, mental health concerns because of how long we've been in the house and being locked down and everything like that or whatever, which we learn how to, like I said, be happy in the present moment, be grateful for the things that's going on around us, realize our own triggers, take accountability for ourselves and know that we cannot fix other people, know that we cannot change other people. We can be responsible for what other people do. All we can do is try to be a good example, for those that are watching us that we know and don't know, be role models, be examples for in our family dynamics. And just like I said, just be great or just be a living or walking example of righteousness and awareness and like just knowledge, and that's why I love the KUAW, because it's just being aware and a knowledge of it. And then once you understand these things, you study these things, you see how they affect. It's not just like a spiritual thing, it all ties back into your mind, the chemicals and things that are released into your brain and what they do for your body and how they relate to your health of your human body. Like, we realize how much these things are connected and how important it is to take care of ourselves and love ourselves on every level, on every level. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to cut it out because I'm really ready to cut off. But so I'm gonna cut it off a little bit early. But I do want to go over the Holy Covenant. I want to leave with the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. Again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you the comments, all the likes and shares, and make sure to like and share the full video so that your family friends didn't get a chance to watch. They can still tune in. I always can go back and watch it on the YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So yeah. So ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with our brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house. And when you separate in the world, remember the relation that bondeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brothers in adversity, assist him. If thy sisters in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy Father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Peace.